Mohamed Salah blows my mind.
Salah! Oh, wow! Salah! Oh! Astonishing!
He is a phenomenon. There has never been anyone else quite like him. But weirdly, I'm not sure that he gets the plaudits that he deserves. He is the 4th top goal scorer in Liverpool Football Club history. He is above all kinds of legends. When you think about the rich history and iconic goal scorers that club has had over the years, Salah rises above some genuine icons. Mohamed Salah is above Robbie Fowler. Mohamed Salah is above Michael Owen. Mohamed Salah is above the King, Kenny Dalglish. Amazingly, Mohamed Salah is above Billy Liddell. Liddell was so good, so important, so prolific that when he played for Liverpool, they were renamed Liverpool in his honour. And yet Mohamed Salah leaves his record standing. His goals are outrageous from the second that he landed at Liverpool. 44 goals in his debut season. 4 seasons, hitting 30 plus goals. Every single season that he's been at the club, including this one, hitting 20 plus goals. And then just look at his ratio. Look at what he's done. It's mind-bogglingly brilliant. And there is a chance that this could be his final year in English football. And if it is, he is going to bow out in spectacular fashion. Because not only are Liverpool going to win the Premier League, but Mohamed Salah is on course to have his most productive season ever. The twin peak of Mohamed Salah's career. A second high, almost higher than the first. Never did we think it was possible for Mohamed Salah to be better than the player that he was under Jurgen Klopp, winning the Premier League, winning the European Cup. But somehow he is. Somehow this version of Mohamed Salah is better than anything that we have ever seen before. He is more selfless, more important to the team, more controlled than he ever has been. That's not to say that he doesn't have dazzling quality. That's not to say that he isn't still as unpredictable as ever, but it is now all done with a ruthlessness and a calmness that wasn't perhaps on display in previous seasons. Make no mistake about it, Mohamed Salah is a great of English football. And despite being one of the most talked about footballers in England at the moment, he seems to be one of the very few professional footballers that can put all speculation and focus on the best form of his Liverpool career. He is currently the Premier League's top goal scorer and top provider. He currently has 18 goals and 13 assists in just 21 games. To put that in context, no other player in the league is in double figures for both. Mohamed Salah has contributed 31 goals this season alone. Cole Palmer is the next highest with 20. And those 31 goal involvements that Mohamed Salah secured in the first half of a season is also a Premier League record. The record was previously set by Luis Suarez. Suarez contributed 30 goals in the first 19 games in the 2013-14 season. And just to demonstrate quite how brilliant Mohamed Salah has been this season, quite how amazing this iteration of Mohamed Salah is, he has already matched the number of goals that he scored in the 2023-2024 season. And the 13 assists that he has already provided this season match his 2021-2022 total. That is the highest amount of assists that he has ever provided across an entire season. And this is why Mohamed Salah is simply unrivaled. He is quite simply unstoppable in luminous form this season. And he really does have the Midas touch. It's just instead of turning everything to gold, he turns it to goals. And that is why he will now sit above Thierry Henry in the all-time Premier League goal-scoring charts. There is certainly a chance that by the time Mohamed Salah hangs up his boots, he could be in the top 3 all-time Premier League goal scorers list. But this is the most important part of this video. Football is not about stats. So whilst I have spoken glowingly about Mohamed Salah's incredible tallies, Mohamed Salah's ruthless pursuit of numbers, what sets Mohamed Salah apart is actually nothing to do with the stats. The stats are boring, they're for geeks. They tell you something, but they certainly don't tell you everything. And in my opinion, stats are actually for mugs, because football is a feeling. Football is an emotion. Football courses through your veins. Football is in your blood, not your brain. And if football is a feeling, Mohamed Salah is intoxicating. As an opposition fan, when Mohamed Salah picks the ball up on the wing, he turns you cold with fear. If you are at Anfield and you see Mohamed Salah pick the ball, you see the expectation, you can feel the palpable tension as Anfield rises to its feet in expectation and hope that Mohamed Salah will deliver, and invariably he does. He is one of the most exciting players to watch in the league and has been for most of the last decade. A glorious, unpredictable, mercurial footballer capable of achieving the impossible. An artist who literally dances with the ball at his feet. Nutmegs, goals from tight angles, pingers from outside the box, poachers goals, lucky goals, dazzling goals, all sorts of goals galore. That is what Mohamed Salah is all about. Mohamed Salah is football. Mohamed Salah is what football is all about. Football is about those spontaneous, unpredictable moments. The excuse for that jubilation. Spontaneously hugging a stranger you've never met before. Smashing your shins up on the seats in front. Mohamed Salah is directly linked to it all. Jaw-dropping ability. But then he's also very capable of the other side of the coin. Football can be glorious because of a wonderful tiki-taka exploitation of the opposition. A volley from 30 yards. Ruud Gullit's sexy football. Yeah, that's glorious. But so is spite. So is venom. So is a 50-50 challenge. So is a goal-mouth scramble. So is a late tackle with an edge. And Mohamed Salah is capable of all of that. Never afraid. Never shirks a challenge. Never bullied out of a game. Never affected by opposition tactics. If anything, he is inspired by them. If Salah is targeted, his spirit will not be affected. I think it's why he's bonded so well with the cop. Liverpool fans adore him because they see themselves in him. He fights for the badge on his chest. When Liverpool fans sing about the liver bird on their chest and being made of Shankly's best, Mohamed Salah represents that perfectly. He's got fire in him. He fights, he keeps going, he's spirited, and he doesn't mind a bit of needle. So not only does he get the ball and enthrall the crowd, but he's a geezer, a gladiator, a warrior. His pace is electric, his finishing is clinical, and he has sensational technique. And some suggest that he doesn't have the flair of a Lionel Messi or an Eden Hazard. I would actually contest that. He has great ball control when moving at high speeds, and once he gets going, there is literally no stopping him. And in football, there isn't a much more terrifying sight than a marauding winger with an eye for goal. And Salah running at your left back will send shivers down your spine. His goal highlight reel is up there with anyone who has ever played in the Premier League. And it does actually remind me of Arjen Robben, because when Arjen Robben was playing for Chelsea, I remember being in the stadium and I'd never known anything like it. There was an expectation that season. Give Robben the ball and watch him go. Liverpool have had the luxury of giving Salah the ball and watching him go for the best part of a decade. And even when you know exactly what he wants to do in a very similar way to Robben, basically cut in and curl it into the far post, nobody has worked out a way of how to stop him. And whilst I've drawn a parallel between Salah and Robben, there is one area where they are massively different. I remember being at Anfield on one of those hateful Champions League nights when they knocked us out.
It's time for the country to vote, red or blue. Most of you will be rooting for one or the other. This is not a night for neutrals.
And Jamie Carragher, I think it was, went through the back of Arjen Robben. Arjen Robben, in that moment, knew that it wasn't going to be his night, and he asked to be subbed. He effectively subbed himself. Mohamed Salah would never, because he is a man who thrives on the big game moments. He has scored an outstanding 13 goals against Liverpool's biggest rivals, Manchester United. He has scored another 7 goals against Liverpool's local rivals, Everton. He has scored 11 goals against Liverpool's title rivals, Arsenal. And he has also scored a further 8 goals against Liverpool's era-defining rival, Manchester City. But talking about his goals in big games doesn't do justice to his sublime skill. His outrageous outside of the boot assist away at Watford, a similar outside of the boot assist at home to Newcastle, will live long in the memory of anyone who saw them. And weirdly, Salah isn't really seen as being a playmaker, but it is only Frank Lampard and Mohamed Salah who are simultaneously in the Premier League top 10 all-time Premier League goal scorers and the Premier League all-time top 10 providers. And as he gets older, he is providing more and more. He is becoming more and more a team player. And under the tutelage of Arne Slot, this could continue to flourish. In his first 4 seasons at Anfield, he provided a totally respectable 33 assists in the Premier League. But in the last 3.5 seasons, he has provided a remarkable 48. And this stat tells us everything that we need to know about him. He is always keen to improve, always keen to learn, always keen to get better. I read a great story involving Ben Foster and Mohamed Salah, and this tells us everything that we need to know about the character of Mohamed Salah. Always keen to learn, always keen to develop. Liverpool had beaten Watford 5-0. After the game, Mohamed Salah makes a beeline for Ben Foster. When he gets over to him, he puts his hand over his mouth so that the cameras can't pick up what he's going to say. Bearing in mind, Liverpool won the game 5-0. Salah had already scored. but he wanted a chat with Ben Foster. Why? Didn't need to. He could have gone down the tunnel, could have gone out for dinner, could have gone out to celebrate. But instead, he wanted to talk to Foster. He asked him, if a penalty had been given in that game, if I had taken it, what way would you have dived? How clever. Always thinking about an edge, always thinking about the next game, the next opportunity, always thinking about what information Ben Foster could give him so that when he's next in a situation, he will be able to use that information to his advantage. And when you think about this intelligence and the selflessness, this continued development as a playmaker, not just a goal scorer, surely means that Mohamed Salah has another few years in him at top class level. Even if he loses a yard of pace, it won't matter when you are that intuitive. If he were to go with a second Premier League medal, I think it would be a huge loss to Liverpool, but not only to them. It would be a loss to the Premier League as a whole. Sometimes in football, we need to put aside our tribalism and we need to acknowledge that we are witnessing greatness. Being alive at the same time as Mohamed Salah, having the luxury of watching him play football, being part of this journey is a privilege. I never had the luxury of watching Billy Liddell play football, and that is a shame. But I've seen Mohamed Salah. I've witnessed his brilliance. And for that, as a football fan, I will be forever grateful. So they're my thoughts on Mohamed Salah. I think he's I think he's an icon. He's undoubtedly a Liverpool icon, but he is also a Premier League legend. He will go into the Hall of Fame, and he will forever be remembered as Anfield's Egyptian king. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like and click subscribe, and I will see you all in a bit. Ta-da!